May I admit guests, all the students now? Janet, can I admit students?
Yes, Aparna, please go ahead.
72 students in the meeting room joining.
All right. See ya. Bye-bye.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Education USA's Hallmark of US Education webinar series. Before we begin the session, a few housekeeping rules for the benefit of seamless webinar experience. We will be beginning the session shortly. Please use your headphones for enhanced audio quality. We also request all the participants to mute themselves and switch off the videos. Please type your questions in the question box. We will answer all your questions after the session. Check out the links to resources and handouts that will be posted during the session in the chat box. Welcome once again, everyone. This Hallmarks of US Education is a 7-part webinar series which began on June 9th and it will go on until July 21st. That's next Wednesday. Today is the 6th episode of the Hallmarks of US Education, and today's topic is generous financial resources for talented students. That's about scholarships and financial aid. This is one of the most sought after and very important information session for students who aspire to pursue their higher education in the US. As we move through the session, I would like to give a quick introduction to Education USA and who we are. Most of you would be probably following us right from the first episode of the series, or maybe that there are new entrants to the sessions today. So for the benefit of everyone, I'm going to give a quick recap on Education USA and what we offer to international students. This is an official source on US higher education, and we are supported by the US Department of State. Our mandate is to offer accurate, comprehensive, current, and unbiased information on US higher education. In this mission, we have more than 430 plus centers spread over 170 plus countries across the globe. In India alone, we have 8 centers located in 7 cities, and we have 4 host institutions managing this program here. The centers name are located at Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad. There are 2 centers, Kolkata, Mumbai, and New Delhi. Today's episode is hosted by the Education USA Chennai Center. And of course, we are well supported by this entire Education USA India team in this session. For those who are thinking about US as their top choice of study destination, it is very essential that they also understand how do they go through this process of applying to US universities and make sure that they are able to start their academic journey at an institution of their choice. At Education USA, we advocate 5 steps to US study, which is actually well timelined for say about 18 months. Typically, if you would like to begin your academic session in the year 2022, you must start as early as 2021, that is this year, to go through this process. Step 1 is where you research about options, where US gives you more than 4,700 plus accredited institutions and plethora of subjects that you can select from. Step 2 is all about how would you plan for your finances, the budgeting, opportunity for getting scholarships or financial aid or awards. And step 3 is preparing a stellar application package and sending it to the universities. And step 4, after you receive admissions, seek student visa to travel to the US. And step 5 is to prepare before you land in the US. Education USA centers conduct several information sessions on all these steps, and we also encourage the participants to do visit our websites to get more information. The today's session will focus more on the aspects of step 2. So knowing it much before you're starting the journey is always a great experience. What are the ways in which you can connect with Education USA centers here in India? These are the various services that we offer to international students. If you would like to get frequent updates about those webinars or information sessions and any other activity that would engage with students, please sign up for our student database. You can explore all the list of information that is available in our All India calendar. There is also a national toll-free line. If you have any queries about US higher education, feel free to call us from Monday to Friday at this number. There are several virtual Ask an Advisor sessions that happens every day. It will help you. You don't need to book an appointment with us. You can just directly e-walk into these meeting rooms and talk to the advisors in the room. Today's session is one of those virtual specialized information sessions that we offer throughout the year. And there is also individual advising memberships available at our centers if in case you need one-on-one hand-holding for your application process. This is a great boon for students of this generation. There is Education USA India mobile app. It's a free app that's available both in iOS and Android platforms. Please download it so you get all the event alerts. And also it gives you a complete understanding of the 5 steps to your study. And our answer bot will help you answer most of your queries on every single step that you are currently in. Education USA India YouTube channel is a great free resource for students, parents, any other academicians who are interested in knowing about us. We have well curated playlists of videos on undergraduate studies, graduate studies, and also on several common topics and some specialized sessions on field of studies. All this will be a great resource for students who aspire to know more about US higher education and also trying to understand how they go about it. So that's a short introduction about Education USA and what we do for students like you. Today's session on generous financial resources for talented students, more about scholarships and financial aid. We have three eminent panelists who are represented from three different universities. We have with us today Mr. Prathamesh Pengankar from Ohio University, Dr. Durga Suresh Menon, Dean, Computer and Data Science, Wentworth Institute of Technology, and Manmeet Kaur from Bradley University. So before we go on with the session, I'm going to just give you a quick introduction to our panelists today or the presenters today. And also would want you to take a quick peek at those commonly asked questions about financial resources. So keep these questions in your mind ready and as our speakers give their perspectives on these questions. We begin with Prathamesh, who is the India Admissions Advisor at Ohio University, Athens. He has a background in communications and is passionate about international education and career counseling. He loves interacting with students and help them find their right fit institution. He has been an international student himself and can relate to students and parents really well. For those of you who are following all the education related webinars, Prathamesh may not be a new face. You would have probably attended some of his sessions too in the past. We have then Dr. Durga Suresh Menon, Dean of the School of Computing and Data Science at Wentworth Institute of Technology, Boston. She leads a dynamic group of over 100 faculty and staff and alongside 850 students in the fields of computer science, computer networking, applied math, cybersecurity, data science, and business analytics. Definitely an interesting array of subjects that you can notice. With over 20 years of experience as a faculty and a higher education leader, her leadership style is inclusive, strategic, innovative, and most importantly, collaborative. We all know that collaboration is the success story these days, right? While faculty, she received the President's Award for Excellence in Teaching, the President's Award for Excellence in Service, and was named Woman of the Year. Really amazing profile Dr. Suresh Menon has with her, and it's our privilege to have her with us today. As a special assistant to the provost for graduate programs and the then founding dean for graduate education, Durga acted as an architect to the restructuring of graduate programs and provided strategic guidance to the university. She has also been instrumental in creating a new portfolio of graduate scholarships academic excellence, and diverse leaders. While not leading the school to the next frontier, she's also an avid board game player and an amateur chef. I think the list goes on, but what is so interesting to know about is we are going to talk to a dean who is also managing several of those graduate scholarships. So we can be rest assured that there are a lot of tips that's coming our way. The next presenter for today is Ms. Manmeet Kaur. She's the Associate Director of International Enrollment, South Asia, Bradley University. She's a seasoned professional with over 12 years of experience into overseas education, and she's currently spearheading Bradley University's presence in South Asia. That is India, Nepal, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. She streamlines the admission operations as a local point of contact here in South Asia and deeply involved in outreach, marketing, and promotions. Event management is also along her way, and she develops strong links with key influencers, strategic partners, and stakeholders within South Asia. She also oversees the global partnerships along with representing Bradley University at various educational experience and fairs. The amount of experience in the industry that Manmeet brings here will be a great asset for students who are interacting with her to know about how a field of study and the future career are so well interlinked. I wouldn't like to take more time again, and thank you everyone for joining us today once again. And we begin with Prathamesh. Over to you, Prathamesh.
Thank you, Shanti, for the kind introduction. Hello, everyone, and thank you all for joining. My name is Prathamesh, and I am the undergraduate admissions advisor at Ohio University. And I'm always happy to collaborate with Education USA and my dear colleagues from various other US institutions. If you could just allow me a few seconds, I'll share my screen. Shanti, are you able to see it? If you can please confirm.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So yes, I'm going to talk to you guys about financial aid from an undergraduate perspective. All right. So before we kind of understand, how you can be eligible for the financial aid at US institutions, it's very important to kind of understand what financial aid actually means, because I am sure that, there are different things that people know about financial aid, and sometimes it's also used interchangeably with scholarships. Those scholarships is just a part of financial aid. Okay, so financial aid is an umbrella term. Okay, and under that you have, as I said, scholarships, you have grants, you have loans, you have federal aid, etc. And it's basically money which is given to you to help you support your college education. All right, and it's managed by the Office of Financial Aid at US institutions. You'll find the Office of Financial Aid at every US institution, and it's primarily need and merit based. So need is obviously, after determining your financial background and after you demonstrate your need, the institution will be able to grant you the aid on the basis of that. And merit is obviously dependent on your academic merit and or achievement. Now, it differs from college to college because there are different metrics and there is different eligibility criteria. So don't be disappointed, if University A offers you a less scholarship than University B. Okay. Now, let's look at the different types of aid. So primarily, there are two different aids. One is the federal aid and the second is institutional aid. Now, federal aid is offered by the government, the US government, and it is for US citizens and permanent residents only. And you need to apply for the federal aid through something called as FAFSA. It stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. It's an exhaustive form that you need to fill out. And then, you need to send it to the institution that is accepting it. Most US universities accept the FAFSA, and there is a code, FAFSA code, for every institution that you apply to. So whichever universities you're applying to, make sure that you ask for the code or look out for the code and then enter that in FAFSA. Once the college receives your FAFSA, you get the financial aid, through loans, grants, or work study. It could be a combination of all these things or just one, and as I said, it's granted as per need. It's a need-based aid that you receive from the government. And I have also inserted a link here so you could apply through that. Now, there is a detailed session which is done by Education USA. You can find it on their YouTube channel about how you can go about filling your FAFSA application. Now, let's look at the institutional aid. Now, as the name goes, it's offered to you directly by the institution, and it could be, need-based or merit-based, or it could be a combination of both. If it's merit, then it's generally like a scholarship or a grant, which you don't need to repay. It may come with conditions sometimes, or it could be just, without any conditions. And all students are eligible for it, including the domestic students. By domestic students, I mean US citizens and permanent residents. So you all are eligible not just for the federal aid, but also the institutional aid. And international students are generally eligible for the institutional aid, which is the merit scholarships. But some universities, they do offer a combination of both. Now, if it's a need-based scholarship, then the institution will ask you to, sometimes submit like a CSS profile. Now, CSS profile is, again, an exhaustive form, which asks for your financial details, your income tax details of the parents, etc. So they basically want a picture of your financial background. And I think there are over 400 colleges which accept the CSS profile. So you really need to check which colleges accept that. And there is another form, which is ISFA, which is International Student Financial Aid Application. Again, a pretty exhaustive form, but not as exhaustive as CSS or a FAFSA. This also you need to check on the institution's website if they accept it or not. And sometimes the institutions have their own application. Like if you go to Harvard's website, they have their own application form that they ask you to fill out in order to, determine the need-based award that they want to grant you. So this is about, the types of aid that you can expect when you're applying to US institutions. Now, how to qualify? It's very simple. Now, you just need to start by applying to the university. All right. And generally, there is an automatic consideration for merit scholarships. There is no separate application required. Yes, but for need-based, you need to submit the required forms that I mentioned in my previous slide with evidence of, available funds or your financial background. And the very important thing on this particular slide, and consider this as one of the best tips, to get the maximum financial aid, is apply early. Most universities have a deadline. This is not just for admissions, but also for scholarships. And it's something called as early action or early decision, or it could be known by other different names, depending on the institution, but generally it's early action or early decision, and they are generally between November to December. So make sure you apply early so that you receive priority consideration for all the available scholarships. If you apply later than that, some universities may not consider you. Some universities may consider you on an availability basis. Like if the funds are available, then they may be able to offer you the scholarships. Again, deadlines are very different. There is no, one deadline which applies to all colleges. So, whichever universities you're applying to, make sure you earmark all those deadlines in your calendar or whatever document that you're maintaining. For merit-based, you need to have a strong and a unique profile, which kind of helps you in maximizing your scholarship. Now, this could be a combination of different things like your academics, SAT, ACT scores, essays, letters of recommendation, and extracurriculars. So, if you have all of these, this just makes your profile very strong, and helps the college in, giving you more scholarship. Then there are departmental talent-based scholarships. Like in a US university, you will have different colleges, which are also known as departments, and they have their own scholarships to give. There are also talent-based awards, which are given by, certain colleges for the kind of talent you possess. Now, for these particular scholarships, they will have a separate requirement. So you will either have to submit an audition, if you're applying to the School of Theatre or School of Dance or, College of Fine Arts, may require a portfolio from you. Other colleges may ask for an assignment or an essay, or they may even have an interview, before they kind of give you that scholarship. Some may even require you to submit the SAT, ACT test score for, that consideration, because these scholarships, remember, are very competitive. Then we have research-based scholarships, wherein if you have like an original creative research idea, and if the institution is offering that kind of a scholarship, then you could submit, your idea or any previous research work that you've been a part of, and you can also expect some scholarship there. Then there are private scholarships which are offered by certain trusts or organizations, like you have Google, Microsoft, you have the Setna Trust. So they offer like, some kind of aid if you are going to the US for your studies. Again, they may require a separate application. Sometimes they may ask you for an essay. They may like to look at of some of your academic achievements or the honors that you've received, or may ask you to appear for an interview. So it all depends on the kind of scholarship that you're applying to. Lastly, we have upper class scholarships. Now, as the name goes, these are reserved for upperclassmen, which is your junior and senior students. So after you complete, a certain number of months at the university, and if you have like a solid GPA, you could also qualify for these upper class scholarships, but again, you will have to check it with the institution if they are offering it or no. With that, we move on to the financial aid at Ohio University. But before that, I would like to take you all on a video tour of our beautiful and gorgeous campus located in Athens.
Okay.
And after that, we will, look at the financial aid that is waiting for you at Ohio University.
When you become a part of Ohio University, it's not just for 4 years. It's forever. Founded in 1804, Ohio University is one of the oldest public universities in the United States. While we're proud of our past, we're looking forward to the future. Your future.
I was born in the Netherlands, and then when I was 7, my dad got a position here at OU. So this was my first introduction to the US. I think the dedication to small town living, but also embracing people from everywhere was something that was really special about Athens. Knowing that you're having an impact and able to contribute to whatever science field you're working in is really important to know as a student. It was definitely cool to see true science in the making.
It's a real community that you get, not just in your residential green, but also in your residence hall.
Located in a dynamic, economically important state on the edge of the Midwest, Athens, Ohio offers the best of all worlds. A diverse, welcoming small town surrounded by natural beauty, while still in close proximity to major metropolitan areas.
When I first came here, I didn't have a lot of confidence. The faculty teach you that change is important. You meet all these people who want to enact the change and want to be a part of a family. The best part about it is gaining confidence in being you and not being someone else. This is home. This is a place for me to grow, for me to be a new person.
Ohio's generous and renewable scholarships represent our commitment to investing in your success for life. Ohio University doesn't just deliver a degree. It becomes part of who you are and will be forever.
All right. With that, we move on to, as promised, the financial aid at Ohio University. Okay, so we are a public research university, as you guys saw in the video, and we are partially funded by the state and are able to offer merit scholarships for international students up to $10,000 per annum, which is renewable for all the 4 years. And for domestic students, which is your US citizens and permanent residents, we offer the need-based as well as the merit-based scholarships. So, you can apply to us through FAFSA, and we'll consider you for that need-based aid. We also offer departmental scholarships and talent-based awards. So our engineering, college in particular, offers a separate scholarship of their own. They are again very competitive, and this year, in fact, for fall 2021, we gave that scholarship to a couple of our Indian students, which increased their award from 10,000 USD to 15,000 USD. Then we also offer talent-based awards like our School of Theatre, School of Drama, and College of Fine Arts. They also offer you some sort of scholarship after you submit your, portfolio or audition to them. Then we also have the HTC scholarship, which is the Honors Tutorial College Scholarship. And this is again a highly selective program. We admit about 75 students per year. And once you get selected, you are eligible to receive full in-state tuition with a trustee award. One of our students, in fact, from India, happened to receive this scholarship, which slashed her total cost of attendance by half. She received a scholarship of nearly 20,000 US dollars. Then we also offer the You Are Welcome Here scholarship. Now, this is offered to only first-year international students, and only certain colleges in the United States are a member of this particular scholarship. So we offer 2 of them every year. And again, they are renewable for all the 4 years. And there is a separate essay that you need to submit as part of your application. If you're selected, then you will receive up to half tuition, which is about 11,000 US dollars. Then we also have upper class scholarships, again, for upperclassmen, as I said. So once you complete 1 year of your studies at Ohio, there are additional scholarship opportunities that open up for you. But again, the condition is you need to have a solid GPA to be able to apply to these. And if you get it, then they get added to the scholarships that you've received at the time of your application. And lastly, since we are a research university, we also take research very seriously. And that's why we have something called as the Undergraduate Provost Research Fund, wherein we are able to completely fund your undergraduate research. If you have like a creative or original research idea that you would like to explore, there is also a travel fund, because as an assistant to a faculty or maybe an individual researcher, you'll be required to travel, to conferences or out of the university to maybe make a presentation. And for that, we have a travel fund through which your travel also gets covered. With that, I hope you've gotten a clear picture about how the financial aid works at the undergraduate side of things. I will hand it back to Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you, Prathamesh. And that was a good recap on undergraduate financial aid and scholarship. You well explained them. And now we move on to Dr. Durga Suresh Menon to give more insight to graduate financial resources. Over to you, Durga.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. I'm sorry, it's good morning for me here in Boston. It's wonderful to see all of you, at least all of you who've got pictures on your profiles. I am going to share my screen. And are you all able to see it? Or is it the slides now? I think I want to show the other one. Give me 1 second.
We can see you, Durga. Please go ahead.
Brilliant. And you're able to see the slides as well?
Yes, both.
Awesome. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Education USA, Shanti, Aparna, thank you again for having us here. And I'm truly excited. Unlike Prathamesh and Manmeet, this is my first time doing a presentation with Education USA. And I'm hoping that with your questions, I can make these presentations better. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, you heard about my work career. Let me tell you, as a student, I am from Chennai, born and raised in Tamil Nadu, not necessarily Chennai. And I came to do my graduate education here in the US. I have multiple degrees in the US now, and all of them had some kind of financial aid aspects and financial resources that are very important. And I think something that I want to start off is, you all heard Prathamesh talk about how important it is that for us, especially here, to be able to give you guys resources based on your academic performance. So always keep that in mind, that as you go through your education in the US, that's the thing that we are looking for. We are looking for the students who are best at what they do, and to be able to provide more resources for you as we go through the academic journey. So talking to you guys a little bit about institutional scholarships. So I'll build on what a lot of Prathamesh told you guys, is there is pots of money in different places, right? So it might not all be in one place, but the idea here is that you will have to look for certain things after you get to the US. And then there are lots of things that are available before you come to the US. So it's very important. And I love the way Prathamesh said, you go to Harvard, you go to MIT, they tell you very clearly. And a lot of us in our schools do as well, where we tell you that there are multiple funding resources. So it's very important to ask questions. I think that's where I want to start. At some point today, you will get my email, you'll get the email of our admissions departments. And the most important thing is to ask those questions, right? What is available to me? So here I put in some that we talked about. Merit, guys, there are athletic scholarships in the undergrad arena, and then there is the legacy scholarship. We've got multiple kinds of scholarships, referral scholarships, departmental scholarships, school. I come from the School of Computing and Data Science, so we have scholarships in there. And of course, there are external scholarships. And I'm sure that Shanti and her amazing team are going to do more presentations about funding that's available to you before you come to the US, which is through the Education USA Opportunity Funds, the Fulbright scholarships. And that's an entirely different thing that I think a lot of you, especially looking for graduate programs and PhD programs, should look at. And even if you've started a graduate program in India and then want to move to the US, there are many opportunities to do that. Now, how to apply for them? I think before you start, I think it is most important to understand who gets these scholarships. Now, you heard from Prathamesh about keep your GPA up, do really well, be in the cutting edge of technology, be in the cutting edge of research, and then there are funds available. But there are other things when you come on campus. And again, this is again extremely institution based. Some of the ways that we do here at Wentworth is, we have the course grades. We actually have a dean's list where the students can get into, and that gets you some money. We have extracurricular activities. We have the merit scholarships before you come in, both for undergraduate and graduate. So now guys, Prathamesh focused on the undergraduate side of things. Even for graduate school, we do look at your undergraduate GPA, right? And what that tells me is that you are going to be successful as a graduate student. And that brings you merit scholarships in many institutions, including mine. We always tell you that you're going to have an essay, whether you're going to come into undergrad or you're coming into grad, there is that statement of purpose. A lot of times people think, who reads it? I promise you, as a dean, I like to read them sometimes. Well, I don't go through all the applications, but once in a while, I'll go and look at all the applications, pick a name, and I'm like, oh, what did this person say in their statement of purpose? Because especially when you come into graduate education, whether it's MS or PhD programs, it's very important to tell them why. Right? Why, when you have all these other schools in the country or in the world, right? Why have you chosen to come to this school, this institution, and what is your love for research, right? And it's so important, you guys, because we match you with the faculty, especially when you come for your MS and PhD, we match you with faculty. And that is very important for us to know that that's why you're coming. And I love this pro tip. This is from my international student office that I got this pro tip, and they said, deserve before you desire, right? Because the idea here is know what you want. In graduate school, there is no, I'm just coming. Undergraduate is, you're coming, you're exploring, you're getting to know the United States. But when you come to graduate school, whether it's MS or PhD programs, you know what you want. And that's very important to us to know that this is what you want. Talking to you a little bit about applying for scholarships, there is a lot available even in the Education USA site as they talk about schools. Definitely spend a lot of time understanding some of these websites and then being able to talk to people, because we have been told that our students have been scammed. So I love the way that, Shanti started this entire process by saying, come and talk to a counselor. Like you can e-walk and talk to somebody, which is an amazing resource. Guys, I came to US 22 years ago, did not find an Education USA counselor to talk to. And I will tell you this, I'm jealous of all of you in this call today who have got these resources available on the ready, right? These are people waiting to help you, to talk to you, to tell you about all the things that are available, what are not available. And I think that's very important, you guys, to understand what is available, but also to understand what is not available, right? So definitely talk to people and find more information, whether it is directly talking to the schools in the United States or talking to Education USA counselors, because this service is spectacular. To talk to you a little bit about this need-based aid, understand that a lot of this need-based aid, as Prathamesh talked about, is available to undergrads, and it's available to people who are permanent residents or citizens. So look for language that talks about international students, right? Because we are a special kind that's coming into the US, and there are resources that are available to our students that are specifically international. And I love that. I implore my colleagues in Ohio University and the wonderful job that they're doing, where the focus is on international students, right? So ask questions, ask tons of questions. When you're coming to especially graduate programs and PhD programs, it's extremely important to know why you're coming, what your interests are, and how they align with the institution. Or you could have an alignment to a faculty, right? You can have an alignment to a research program that is within the school. So I think that is the important thing to ask, to say, I'm coming into computer science, but my interest is in artificial intelligence. I'm a computer scientist, guys. I'll focus on that. We have a data science program where we talk about how when a student comes for the master's, they're going to have a capstone. So we ask them the first day they get there, what would you want your final project to be, right? So there's this journey that starts on day one, but then it takes you 2 years to complete. But having an idea of what you want to do. What did you do in your final project in your undergrad? Use that narrative in the letters that you write as you find out about the monies that are available. So if you see that there is a scholarship, right, that is very specific to international students that talks about a research scholarship, talk about your research, then you apply for that scholarship, and then you use that. Now, there's another word that, Prathamesh talked about, aid and scholarships. There is sometimes another word used, you guys. You've heard about assistantships, but there are also something called as fellowships. And so whenever you see these scholarship, fellowship, assistantships, these are money that is given to you, and it's not a loan, right? It takes away a part of your tuition dollars to bring you to the US and help you during your study in your graduate programs. Now, let me talk to you a little bit about Wentworth. I was looking at Prathamesh's awesome video about Ohio University, and I was like, we are not a big school in a little bit of a suburban Midwest. We are Boston. That's where I start. And just as I came into this meeting, we were having a conversation about how is the weather in Chennai, and I was telling people that Boston reminds me a lot of Chennai. We are a big city, one of the biggest cities in the country. We are right here in the middle of everything that is happening. We are a stone throw away from MIT and Harvard, and we are the city. We are big, we are loud, we are not quiet. It is the city. So for those of you who are coming from big cities, I promise you it'll be very much like you're at home. What you see in this picture is a part of Wentworth. A lot of our campus is encompassed in this picture, especially right in the middle. And you see our field there. That is our soccer, lacrosse, and a multi-purpose field that we have there. And so that is my institution. We love this because we recently took a picture of our institution from an aerial view. This was actually motivated by one of the projects that was done between engineering and computer science, where we were actually doing the drones. But I don't know if you all know this or not. The drones cannot go past a certain height. So we were trying to take pictures of the institute, and this was motivated by one of those experiments that was done. Wentworth is small in the sense of we are under 5,000 students. That's considered small here. And we are a very hands-on computing, engineering, and architecture and design school. And one of the ways I can introduce you is to tell you that when you are in Boston, it reminds you a lot of being in a hub. Boston is also called the hub. It's the middle of everything. There's always something happening. It is an extremely multicultural city. So you have students from every part of the world that comes in. We have a very small number of international students. And one of the reasons I'm here is to invite Indian students to come to Wentworth Institute of Technology, because I feel that we've been a very regional school, and now we are actually expanding with our graduate offerings, especially to invite all of you to come to Boston and get to see this beautiful city that we are in. Something that if I've got to sum up Wentworth in a sentence, I would say we are very hands-on. We are not theoretical. We are very practical. Everything that you learn in the classroom, you get to apply immediately. We are a co-op school. I'm going to let Manmeet talk to you a lot about the co-op program. But when it comes to being able to practice what you learn in school, what you learn in classes, our school is extremely hands-on, and there is a co-op requirement, as in you have to work in order to graduate, because we want you to bring that practice of being able to go out and then bring that back in. We are also extremely proud of being small, which means that everybody knows everybody. We are very close knit, and the activities. And I always tell the students when they come to Wentworth, hey, if you go to a big university, right, and you're sitting in a class with 100 students, 200 students, 600 students, and you don't show up to class, right? Nobody's going to ask you a question. At Wentworth, our class sizes are 25 and under. You don't show up to class, and I show up the next day, and you show up the next day. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to be like, Prathamesh, Shanti, where were you yesterday? I've not seen you. What's going on? So I believe that what that does is it provides a lot of opportunities to collaborate. And I think in today's day and age, if you're not collaborating, you're not moving forward. So I think we present a lot of opportunities, and a lot of things that you see here are interdisciplinary projects of what we do within the school. And we actually have a huge international student organization. We are calling ourselves WISA. It starts with a W, W-I-S-A, but we are just having a play on words here. But in order to create this international community. So as you look at Wentworth, and I hope that you all go and research the school, you do what we've been telling you, which is ask questions, right? Ask questions and see how you can be engaged, whether it is undergraduate or graduate or looking at PhD programs. It is so important to be able to ask, what are the resources that you have for us? How can I apply to a very specific scholarship or to ask for merit-based scholarships? And you write that in the letter, and then you reach back out and be able to talk to somebody and say, listen, this is who I am, and this is what I bring to the table. Let me tell you a little bit about my undergraduate education, and this is what I did in my undergraduate education. And that narrative becomes very important to explore the opportunities that might be available to you. Ethan took a very short amount of time to finish his undergrad, and now he's actually thinking about coming back to grad school. But I think he's been one of the most fun students that we have had in the recent past, at least before the pandemic hit. So I thought I'll just put a picture of somebody that that would be here to welcome you, hopefully, into the grad programs next year. One of the things that we all have been talking about is, okay, you apply for scholarships, you come to Wentworth, you go to Ohio University, go to Bradley, go everywhere, right? Go. I love the way Ashanti reminded you all, this 4,700 universities, go anywhere, right? But the most important thing is, as much as you have opportunities to ask for money before you come into your grad and undergrad programs, there's also means to earn money and provide financial resources for yourself once you are in the program. So let me start by talking a little bit about the off-campus, which is, you have your CPT, which you can take to do your co-ops. You can do your OPT when you graduate. And if you come to a STEM program, which a lot of us represent, that's, 3 years of OPT. But there's also the concept of graduate internships. And I want to talk to you a little bit about Wentworth's graduate internship. It's actually a course, guys. You actually get credit for going out and working in the industry. It's a 1-credit course. You work with your advisor places you in a job, you make money, you come back, right? So these are other ways that you can also be earning when you're on campus. Now, irrespective of whether you're going out on CPT or OPT, without using any of these things, you are allowed to work on campus for 20 hours or less, as long as it is the institute paying you money, right? And I'll tell you what I did. I was in the tutoring center. I was a math whiz, so I love tutoring math. So I worked for 20 hours in, I think I worked for 5 hours in the tutoring center, and for 5 hours I worked in the bookstore. Because I loved being around books. And I think by the time I graduated, I was assistant manager in the bookstore, even though I worked like 15 hours of the week. But the idea here is there are opportunities. I put here library, bookstore, tutoring centers, and other university jobs are available. If you go to very big schools, this might be things like working in the dorms, like, being like a person who lets people in and out, people who are there to give tours. College tours are a big thing. People pay you to take people on tours. And the most important thing is, when you come to the United States, form a very strong bond with your international student office, because they will be the ones who will always keep you compliant with what the rules are. I know that coming to a new country, starting something new can be very challenging sometimes, or maybe you are a little bit shy. But the idea here is that if you're able to forge these relationships, they really help you get to a better place and find more resources for yourselves. I would be remiss if I did not talk about my school. I am the Dean of the School of Computing and Data Science. I have 7 programs this fall. We are looking at starting 2 new programs next year in information technology and in cybersecurity analytics. I have been told that the consulates are kind of open for F1 students. We are still enrolling for the fall in graduate. We are not enrolling in undergraduate anymore, but we are enrolling in the graduate programs. And we're actually looking to see if you're not able to come in September, how we can bring you here next year, maybe in January. So, and this might not be just Wentworth, this might be other schools as well. And how do you find out these things? Ask questions. I think if there is one takeaway from meeting me today for all of you, it is about being able to reach out and being able to ask questions. And I think when you ask those questions and when you forge these relationships, we tend to remember you. And if you are coming to Wentworth, I promise I will be there to welcome you the day you get here. So take some time, get to know the programs, ask questions. Here is some of the awards we have. We have been extremely lucky in being able to come up with awards that recently have been up to $25,000 and this is basically, we are doing it based on merit, and we've been doing presidential scholarships. We've got like a portfolio of scholarships, and then when you apply, we try to see where we can place you within this portfolio and what you actually match. So please ask questions. And in the graduate fellowships, we basically recently came up with a Global Leader Award. We came up with a Women Leader Award for all you girls out here on this call. There is a lot of awards available for women, for international students, and for students with great GPAs. And again, guys, we actually put this in here. We actually offer fellowships. We have multiple fellowship opportunities within our school where you could be helping a faculty, you could be doing research, you could be a grader, you could be a teacher's assistant. There's so many things that are available for you. So please understand that when you ask us questions and when you apply, we are able to help you with these. I didn't put my information here. My name, I hope that you'll all remember, Suresh Menon D at wit.edu. But these are the important people that you can ask questions to within Wentworth, especially Pan Lowe, who is our Associate Director of International Admissions. Very, very quick in getting back to all of you. So I implore you to ask her questions, get in touch with me if you have questions, if you're thinking about coming into computer science or data science or business analytics. I look forward to seeing a lot of you emailing me, asking me questions, and then making your way up here. And guys, if you come to a different school in the US, it does not mean that I will not talk to you. So if you make your way up here, definitely reach out. I look at myself as an ambassador for the United States of America to tell you guys about the opportunities that are available here and to ask you to come and join us. So thank you all so much for your time and attention. Thank you very much. Shanti, back to you.
Thank you, Durga, for that power-packed presentation, and you made a great story from your own personal experiences too. So now we move on to Manmeet to give us a perspective on those off-campus and on-campus work that Dr. Suresh Menon spoke about. Over to you, Manmeet.
Hi, everyone. I think Shanti has already given a wonderful introduction for all of us. And I just start talking about my university, and I'm glad through this platform I've known more closely Durga and Prathamesh. That was an opportunity, certainly. So we are Bradley University, based out in Peoria City, Illinois State. It's a beautiful city of lakes, museums, and a lot of other opportunities to look forward to. I think Prathamesh and Durga has captured most of the points that I wanted to speak. And then we will talk about, as today we are here about generous financial resources for talented students. So after scholarships and financial aid, I'm here to talk about OPT, CPT, and co-ops. So as my dear friend Durga has already covered a lot of it about this as well. CPT is curriculum practical training. OPT is optional practical training. So as the name suggests, curricular is part of the course, part and parcel of the course program, and optional is something that is certainly optional. A student may take it, may not. So both are, at the end of the day, benefits associated with any F1 student status and can be part-time or full-time. And this could be like less than 20 hours is part-time and full-time is always 20 hours or more than a week. So CPT is like part of your program and you do it before completing your graduation. Whereas if I talk about optional practical training, it is technically a pre-completion or a post-completion for OPT. And many of the schools usually have the need of post-completion due to using the CPT instead. Now, if I talk about Bradley in specific, we are more into offering OPT. CPT is the opportunity to work to gain practical experience. It adds value to your resume and can find a job that you really want to. It's not something that you go ahead with whatever is available. And the one significant point to be noted for the CPT is that if you work full-time for 12 months in the CPT, you will lose your eligibility for OPT. And talking about OPT, it's a program that is temporarily allowing F1 visa holders to gain practical experience in the market. And then it is directly related to the student's major employment. That is the majors that you pick in your program. And this could be paid or unpaid, but at the end of the day, it is offering you an exposure. This is more generally, a description of CPT as well. So I'll say it's like true for both CPT and OPT. And, it is like part of an established curriculum and must be completed before you graduate. If I start speaking about the differences, major differences, the purpose of CPT is that it allows the F1 students to work in a company to get practical exposure before graduation. However, OPT allows the student to gain this practical exposure in the same field after completing the graduation. The requirements are more or less similar still. Working on CPT is part of the candidate's degree requirement. However, OPT is not related to candidate's degree requirement. The duration in the case of CPT can be up to 12 months. And in the case of OPT, the duration is actually 12 months, which can be extended to 24 months. If I talk about the employment authorization document, so which is something that a student is required to be providing to the department, the student does not get it from the USCIS in the CPT. However, in the case of OPT, a student working on OPT will get it from the USCIS after getting approval for OPT. And for CPT, there's no application fee because that's the part of your curriculum. However, for OPT, there is an application fee involved. The working hours are usually, in the case of CPT, it can be either part-time or full-time, as I mentioned earlier. And the 20 hours part-time can be done and 40 hours during the summers. But generally, in the case of OPT, it is done full-time. And if I relate it to specifically Bradley, technically OPT, at Bradley, we really use the completion of OPT since CPT is usually a part of the option that a student can opt for. However, that is not the case everywhere. So CPT must be required as integral part of the student's program and many institutions would require the student to be enrolling in the course credit when they're working on CPT. Co-ops is like, it's the cooperational education. So that balances the classroom theory with the practical exposure and offering an hands-on experience to the students prior to the graduation. This is kind of, we should say, this can be paid or unpaid. Through the co-op, students are able to have alternative academic study with full-time employment, gaining some practical exposure. Co-op is usually related to multi-work term agreement with only one employer. And traditionally, it can length up to 3 work terms. And these are some links that you can screenshot and use, or probably you can click right now and ask us questions in the chat box. Now, if I talk about Bradley in specific, we are too generous with our scholarships. Any student is not needed to actually apply for the scholarships. We offer merit scholarships, which are worth 10%. So any meritorious student who is qualifying in the set GPA, that is 3.25 to 3.74, your admit letter will by default talk about the merit scholarship. And so is the case in excellence scholarship, which is worth 25% on your tuition fee. Any student who is qualifying between a GPA of 3.75 to 4.0 will get an opportunity to have the excellence scholarship. We have graduate assistantships. So there is usually an application for this one. The merit and excellence are offered just based on your academic scores. Now, we say it that we offer it 50% for part-time mentorship and assisting the professors. It's basically a student mentors other students, and this is a process of assisting the professor. So any student, there is an application, but then, as I said, it's a competitive process. So one can't just qualify by applying for the application. You have to have, there's an interview required in this. And I personally believe, so far, I've seen so many students getting graduate assistantships. However, this is a process where a student has to exhibit their potential onshore. But then if they exhibit the potential onshore, they can definitely get through the process. Undergrad scholarships, there is no application process at Bradley University. We are offering it from an amount of $4,000 to $24,000. If you are an international student, a $4,000 scholarship is by default granted to you. And for another, from $5,000 to $24,000, that's another $20,000, is something which is offered based on your academic scores. So we say higher the academic score, higher is the grant of the scholarship amount. I must tell you that we have master's fellowship as well, which is not awarded to the new students. It is an opportunity for the continuing students. So once you are onshore, you can grasp the opportunity of fellowship as well. And that's available for all graduate students. At Bradley University, we are #1 in Illinois for finding jobs. We are out of top 20 salary boosting schools as per payscale.com. Talking about #1 in the Illinois for finding jobs is as per US News and World Report. Durga is better at talking on this one. So $30,000 is something what students start their careers with post-graduating. And when I talk about Bradley University in specific, just after 6 months of getting graduating, students have managed to earn about $56,800 per annum in case of Bradley graduates. That's a huge support that we offer to the students in the name of Smith Career Center. So this is a center that is supporting students with resume building and, with the interview presence, what an employer is expecting as per US standards. This center is supporting students with getting them, acquainted to the 200+ industry people that we are associated with. So this center is supporting these employers to conduct career job fairs on campus twice a year. So one is post orientation of the spring term, and the other is post orientation of the fall term. So this is a lifetime service offered to our students, and that's how you can see a student access, alumni access, and the employer access. Most of our students get placed with any good brands that you can say any industries based out in Illinois in specific, from Caterpillar, Komatsu, John Deere to State Farm, Apple, HCL are other names. Peoria is a small suburb area. So the part-time wages a student may tend to earn nothing more than $17 to $21 per hour. However, boarding, lodging, and commuting expenses are relatively less when compared to any Hasba cities. So even after earning just $17 to $21, these students manage to earn a good amount. These are my contact details. If at all you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer in the chat box as well. I'll stop sharing the screen and leave it back to Shanti and Aparna.
Thank you, Manmeet, and thank all the three presenters. That was a great session. So every one of you exhibited your strength in the respective graduate, undergraduate level, and during the program and after the program. That's definitely a good capture, I should say. We do have quite a bit of questions that have come on our chat and question box. And at this stage, I would also like to acknowledge our participants from the Facebook Live. Thank you all who have joined the Education USA India Facebook today. And we have received some questions from the FB page as well. I would like to begin the question that came from our FB page, because this is a very, very interesting question, and that pretty much addresses the policy in the US. So we all know that US is an equal opportunity country. I mean, it recognizes everyone who has the talent, right? So the first question is coming from Pitambar Acharya. And his question is, does age matter for scholarship financial aid? I'm 49 years now, and I would like to hear from any of you. It's open to anyone can go first, or if you want more points to be added also, please follow this.
Pitambar, I'm going to take this one because I look at you as a future student. No, it does not. In fact, I think you have a great advantage now because you not only come with, okay, all of you young people here, nothing against you, but the idea here is that you come with this amazing experience and you bring something more to the table that maybe a 22 or 23-year-old is not bringing. So I would say, welcome, apply, and we are waiting. Because, and I speak not just for educational institutions like Wentworth. I talk about everybody. I think Prathamesh will agree with me and Manmeet would agree with me that age is just a number. There is no discrimination of any sort for age. In fact, it's illegal. So I say, come join us.
Thank you, Durga. That's very encouraging, and I'm sure the participant heard you. The next question coming from one of our Zoom participant, and I think this is more specific to Prathamesh because there was a mention about departmental or talent-based scholarships, right? So Prathamesh, this is a very interesting question, which so the student wants to know, how will I qualify for such scholarships if I'm going to come in as come in with an undecided major at my undergraduate education? That's a challenging question.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So firstly, US universities welcome you even if you're not sure about your major. In fact, the major is created for students who, would like to explore and who don't want to settle for anything, So we recognize you for that, and we also give you scholarships. Now, if you are, looking at applying to a program which is under, College of Fine Arts, for example, and if you have some creative work, that you've done as part of your high school or anything which is extracurricular in nature, you can always submit that. and that directly goes to the college for review from the undergraduate admissions office. And if they like it, they will give you that talent-based or college-specific award, that you deserve. It all depends on the work. They really want to see, what is your inclination towards that particular, subject area or that major. And on the basis of that, you get awarded. So don't worry, even if you come in as an undecided student, as long as you have some creative work or anything to showcase, you are in for a special scholarship.
Pratmesh, if I may add, this is something that I'm so curious to know about. Is it a generic answer or with respect to only your particular university? So do you think that a student who goes with an undecided major, so do you mean to say that most of the US institutions do have or may have such scholarships?
I will be very honest here, because some universities may not award the scholarship for an undecided student, but at Ohio we do. And I'm sure that there are many other institutions, like Wentworth, Bradley, that we have here, who will kind of go ahead and offer scholarships to such students.
Thank you. I mean, that explains the question. Yeah. We have one more question. That's again about the eligibility criteria for an international student to be considered for the merit-based scholarship. What do you think should be the profile of the student, or is there any specific parameters that we should always keep in mind to qualify for such awards?
Okay, so again, going to be very honest here, academics. Academics are the primary deciding factor for your admission and your scholarships. I mean, there are no two ways about it, but there is also something called as a holistic review process, which most US universities kind of go for, including Ohio. And we like to look at the other aspects of, the students' profile, which is, the essays that you write. We really want to see how you are able to communicate your thoughts and ideas, then we really would like a third perspective, which comes through your letters of recommendation. If you have applied for a major, and if we get a letter of recommendation, say from your subject teacher, who, kind of attests to your skills and subject knowledge, again, that helps. If there is a letter that comes from your counselor or the head of the school who talks about personality, that also tells us a lot about you and how you're going to be at the university. Then SAT again. Now this is very tricky, but if you feel that you can get a good score on your SAT or ACT, and you are confident of giving that in your respective country, then go ahead and submit your score. That can also be considered as part of it. Extracurriculars, if you have anything to showcase which is outside of your school, or it could be a co-curricular experience also that you can share, that also helps. Then other things like strength and rigor of the curriculum, your class rank. So all of these things are taken into consideration, and I think they make for a good and a strong profile.
Thank you.
I just want to add a little bit in the grad side of things. I'm sorry, I got very distracted with all the direct messages that I was getting. I just went to answer all the questions. Thank you for all the questions. Guys, the most important thing is, if you have great scores, send it anyway. One of the beautiful things that has happened with the pandemic and coming out of having a horrible administration to a very normal administration here in the United States, I guess I can say things like this now, now that we have a very international student-friendly administration, is a lot of us have gone score optional. I love that Manmeet wrote it. I don't know if you all noticed it, that there are a lot of schools like Bradley, like Wentworth, that have gone test score optional. So apply, but if you have a great score, why not? It's a brag point, right? And if you don't have a great score, don't submit the GRE or SATs. Talk to us about you. And I wanted to say that there's this holistic way of looking at a student, right? We don't look at one thing or the other. It is what makes you a student. And the most important thing for us here in the United States is that you come and you succeed. We don't want you to come and fail, right? How can we prepare you to come here and be able to get to where we are all here today, right? I am looking at all of you and looking at the next deans of schools in the United States of America. So think about this as we want you, but we also want you to succeed. And if we bring you here and you're not going to succeed, a little bit of that onus is on us. And that's why you go and talk to Education USA. I've been getting some questions about Fulbrights. So guys, ask those questions and then find those resources. And there are more than 10, 20, 100 means to come to the United States where you are helped financially. Is there a financial aspect to your education in the USA? Absolutely. I love the way that Prathamesh said, listen, we're being honest here. We are not here to sugarcoat things for you. We are here to give you the truth and understand that there is a financial aspect to it. But how do you help your financial aspect is the question you should be asking.
I have something to add here, Shanti.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Basically, when we are talking about at my university in specific, Bradley University, so our SOP is divided into two parts, objective essay and the other is achievements essay. So objective essay is simply what Prathamesh said, your purpose of visiting US, choosing this university, this program, why not other, the generic SOP. However, when we are talking about the achievement essay, it basically, through this, student has to exhibit their additional potential. This could be extracurricular activities, sports or whatever. And as I've just seen a question coming from a student, Anshu Jain. This student asks if you have received some merit scholarship but would like to apply for higher. Yes, certainly. So you're getting merit scholarship based on your current scores, whatever you're submitting. But if you're performing well in your semester 1 or probably semester 2, there is always a possibility of upgrading to the next level of scholarship. So yes, you don't get anything on your own. You have to ask for it. And then you have to mention, Durga, would you like to throw any light on this one? Because you are there.
I'm sorry, Manmeet, I was talking to 6 people. Tell me exactly what the question was.
No problem. There's a student asking that they've received merit scholarship and if they are seeking to apply for higher. So it's
I did answer. I did answer the question.
So yes. You get merit based on your current score, but if you increase it onshore, you can always apply for the next level in your following semester.
You can also ask before you come, but that is a question you have to talk to your admissions about. This is something that is a follow-up, guys. I love the way Manmeet said, you have this GPA, this is how much money we give you, right? And then you come and say, well, that sounds great. And what else do you have? That is a follow-up email.
So between two of you and of course, Prathamesh added quite a bit of value to the common questions students raised here in this platform. And there is one specific question about CSS profile. Maybe I can take this question. It's about the CSS profile starts 1st of August every year. Can a student who's looking for admission to fall 2023 start with the CSS in 2021? I think, yes, you should start the process a little early, but not this early. Typically, the CSS profiles have to be submitted nearer to your application deadline. The CSS profile applications would open up every year on October 1st, and so is FAFSA, and that's the time to start working on your financial aid applications. And do always check the university website for the specific deadlines for submitting financial aid applications. However, this is very specific to undergraduate education, and graduate students, you may not have anything like this, but always approach the university if in case they would like to see your financial profile, either before, along with your applications or after getting an admission information from them. Yeah, I think both of them will agree with me. The next question, I think let's move a little away from the scholarship part, but this is something related to field of study. I mean, all 3 of you can answer that. Please tell us if any of your institution will offer an undergrad program on electronics, especially in VLSI and embedded systems.
Yes.
So it's
we have a very big engineering school, and that's why I gave the general information about admissions at wid.edu. Yes, go check out the schools, guys. Come on, you need to go spend some time on our websites. You can't ask that question to us. I thought by now you've got 3 tabs open, one with Wentworth, one with Ohio, and one with Bradley. Check out the programs. You can't just ask the question. Where is your research? Where is your homework?
Also, they should
Totally
open up
agree.
an Education USA tab and check how to go through this process as well. Yeah.
Guys, I think if you don't take Education USA's help, you're missing out. I think it is so important to be able to use this amazing resource. I keep looking at Shanti and saying, where were you when I came to the US, right? And I was from Chennai, I'm from the city, right? And I did not use any resources. But guys, the good news was I had friends here. My sisters, my older sisters' friends were here. So I had a lot of these tie-ups with people who were here. So I was able to ask them those questions. But you all have these amazing resources that are available to you, and we have come to you, right? So use us, use these forums, ask the right questions. For those of you who send me a LinkedIn invite, good for you. I see that there's a lot of you who are sophomores looking into your graduate programs. Fantastic. That's exactly what Shanti was saying, that 18 months to the build up so you do things right. Go through the process, ask Education USA the questions, right? Because guys, if you feel shy about talking to universities in the US, you already got the resource there with Education USA, right? And Aparna just threw in the Education USA financial aid link on the chat. So use that. And I think, and also know this, everybody, if you contact Shanti or Aparna or Janet, and you say, hey, that dean lady from Chennai, she came, what's her name again? She'll put you in touch with us. Right? Because we are in touch with them, right? And to get to us, the best way is not even like directly, go through Education USA, because they will prepare you to ask us even better questions, right? So by the time you come to us, they have told you what are the right questions to ask.
Thank you so much. And I think when we went through the list of questions, and many were already answered by Durga, Manmeet, and Prathamesh independently. I mean, that's so nice of you to volunteer for this. And at the same time, the context of questions were almost the common, but put in a different way. So the bottom line is every other student wanted to understand how will they be considered for a scholarship, and what are those factors that are important in getting those or getting yourself qualified for those awards. So I think if that's going to be a rapid question from us, can all of you highlight one important, I know you cannot highlight that way, but still, can you just give us one important factor the student must always consider to be able to qualify for a scholarship? And I will request each one of you to throw one pointer on that.
GPA, SOP.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I said 2 words, I'm sorry. GPA,
SOP. And what about you, Manmeet?
I'll say GPA. You have to have that GPA. So if you have a pre-mindset of looking for overseas education, you must work towards it.
Okay. And Prathamesh?
GPA, and GPA.
Okay.
Yeah, academics, I mean, play a very important role. We look at your grades from class 9 onwards. It's not like here in India where you just get asked about your board marks like class 10 or class 12, but we want to look at your grades from 9 through 12. And what we are looking for is consistency and an upward graph. If you have that, you can definitely get these scholarships that we just spoke about today.
Everyone, I'm so sorry. I have to sign off. I have a 10 a.m. meeting. It was such a pleasure to meet all of you. Shanti, Prathamesh, Manmeet, Janet, Aparna, we'll do a debrief later. Goodbye.
Thank you, Dr. Durga. And we are also finishing the session in a couple of minutes. Have a great day. So we are coming to the end of the session today, and I'm sure you would probably appreciate definitely the different perspectives you got from all our wonderful presenters today. Please keep those pointers in mind, and do look out for scholarships, financial resources, and start the process definitely early. As we move on, we would also like to tell you about our upcoming sessions. Give me a second. So in the 7-part Hallmarks of US Education series, We have one more session left that's coming up on the Wednesday, July 21st. And that talks about academics to, I'm sorry, one second. Academics to adaptability. One of the most important sessions that you should definitely be present. This is going to talk about why learning beyond the classrooms matters the most today. We all know upskilling, skill improvement, and these are the terms which are oftentimes used not only at the career level, but also at the education level, right? So we keep on learning and we keep on invent ourselves. So do join us on July 21st for our final session of the Hallmarks of US Education series. This is a quick snapshot of all our Education USA centers in India contact. I think we also attached this as a handout in the beginning of the session. Please download them, and you will you are encouraged to contact your nearest center. And also every day we conduct a basic orientation session for students who are planning to pursue their higher education in the US. Do attend those sessions to understand many of the terms that we discussed here today. So that will help you just kickstart your process for higher education in the US. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, presenters, for joining us today. And thank you, my wonderful colleagues, Aparna and Janet, for joining us today. And of all, thank you, every student, parent, counselor, those who joined us today, both at the Zoom room as well as in our Facebook. And we look forward to having you again in our next session. Good night, everyone. And now Durga has left. I have nobody else to say good day. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prathamesh.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Manmeet. Yeah, bye-bye.